obviously a devastating loss, not the way anyone wants to start a season. And the guys were beat up about it. And so we just began to show them why it happened, and why we were, not able to turn that game around on Monday night. And a lot of it had to do with what you saw out there tonight. Just hustle, right? Just simple hustle plays. Rebounding, diving on the floor, physical plays. And some ended up in fouls for us. Offensively, it was not going our way early. It was ugly, quite honestly. And they make you look ugly. I mean, their pressure, is not easy to play against. It's just not, and especially for a young team. And, they got off to a good start. They were on us, pretty quickly. And we just had to begin to chip away. And how we chipped away was just hustle. And I'm really proud of, the effort, that the guys put in, throughout the game. And there were so many different stars in the game, but most importantly, we saw VCU guys diving on the basketball, on the floor, saving the ball, coming up with it, sometimes not coming up with it, but we were there. On Monday night, we were not there. And so that's a lot of the stuff that we did for the last 2 days was just simply, you can be in games if you play hard and you're the aggressor, even if you make mistakes. And so we made way too many mistakes against McNeese State by just simply stopping and not going for it. And that's not how we play basketball. That's not how you win. You have to go for it. And I thought tonight our guys went for it, and did a really good job.
How did you guys overcome that defensive pressure? Did the smaller lineups help? You had Jason out there with Max and Zeb a lot.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Jay Nell was huge in the game. We kept that lineup, Jay Nell, Max, and Zeb out there quite a bit. Fats did a nice job too. He and Bell kind of, tag teamed a little bit there. And then also Toby and Firm, really tag teamed. Kwani didn't have his best game, but he's good. He's good. He's going to have his moments. This season, he'll get to a point where he's playing really good basketball, and it wasn't his night. Got in foul trouble, and wasn't able to really make his mark on the game. He's going to do it, and we're really proud of him. But Firm was magnificent, magnificent. And you saw kind of what he can become. He caught the ball and finished. That one finish from Max was a huge play in the game. His rim protection was huge, 5 blocks. Rebounding, made some free throws, so really proud of, and he had fun while doing it. Like you could see that he was like enjoying being really competitive, and I think that's the biggest thing that we want our team to do.
Coach, how do you figure out which lineup is working? Is that just your eye test? Do assistant coaches helping with that?
The assistant coaches definitely help. Coach Henry does all the matchups, so like when they're out there on the court in terms of who's guarding who. And certainly, I can interject if I want somebody on somebody else. It's just a matter of, figuring out, what the best matchups might be for that particular game. And then, also, are they downsizing? Are they getting bigger? One of the things the other night on Monday night, they downsized quite a bit, with 24 out there at the 5 occasionally. And we really need to match that with a Toby, and in this particular game, anytime 4 was at the 5, we would sub Toby in, and that's where Firm would get his break.
Mike,
I was just going to say, from first half to second half, defensively, would you say just effort was the big adjustment, or?
I thought the first half we had some miscues, right? Some were good plays by them. Right, they caught us off guard. 4 gets a 3 at the top of the key. Right amount of help a couple of times. Where we over help and then they kick it and they shoot a 3. When you play smaller teams like that, they're really good at it, and you've got to be. They're trying to get you to come in there so they can kick it, to shoot that 3, and so you have to resist that urge, to run at the ball and rely on protection at the rim. And Firm obviously gave us that, and the guys began to. Get into the groove and figure out. It's like in football. You see teams just like immediately in the first drive, they'll just run it right down and score. And then maybe they do it again, and then you begin to figure out, oh, okay, here's what we need to do in order to stop that.
Yep.
And I felt like as the game wore on, we began to figure out, a little bit better what we needed to do to be successful on that side of the ball.
Related note, on figuring it out, this is your second game with these guys.
Yeah.
Just how much are you guys figuring out, okay, these guys together, what's the learning curve for y'all?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's certain lineups that, they're all, like, I think the versatility that we have, is pretty good. I think the biggest thing we're struggling with right now is we're really young, right?
Yep.
We just don't have the game experience that others have, I mean, you look at just Rylan Jones. I mean, Rylan started for me for 2 years, He played at Utah, he's played in big games and seen a lot of basketball. Max is our most experienced guy right now. And that was his second game in that arena, He's not in the comfy confines of where he's been used to playing, and so it's new. And he's done relatively well. He's going to be better. As the year goes on. Zeb, first time, like major minutes, starter. Like reliant on you. To make plays, and there's pressure that goes into that. And there's pressure on all these guys that are stepping up into new roles. And it takes time. It's not like right away where it's just, well-oiled machine. Here come the A-10 champs again. That's not that way. This team's going to have to work its way into it. But what can't change is the effort, that we saw out there tonight. And I'm sure there were some plays where we didn't, and we'll find them in film and say, hey, you didn't do it every time. But I'm really proud of the effort that these guys put in terms of diving on the floor. Give you an example. We did a drill the first day after the McNeese game, the first day we were at practice. We watched film the day after, and then we obviously had a practice the next day. The film was very long. We do something called celebrate, tolerate, whether we win or lose. And the guys walk in there and they write on the board, all the things that they that we can't tolerate, the things that we know aren't going to lead us to wins, right? And that whole, the whole side of the board, you've been in there, right? You've been in our video room. Whole side of the tolerate board was full. And on the right side was the celebrate board. They didn't have much over there. It was like one or two things. And that's very rare, all right, that it would be like that. So I could tell the guys felt, they were very critical of themselves. And then we walked in and we already had our film done and we talked through all the things that they had mentioned, that they felt like they couldn't tolerate and would lead us to losses. And we went to work on it. And one of the drills that we did was, just a loose ball drill. Hey, dive on the floor. We got to dive on. We have to be first to the floor. We weren't first to the floor against McNeese State. Got to be first to the floor every time. You're not going to get every one. It's going to bounce the wrong way. You're going to overrun it, whatever. But we have to get down there, right? Because that's what VCU basketball is all about. That's what winners do. And then so we did that drill, and then the next day we're getting ready for practice, and Darius and Brad said, yeah, that's kind of similar to the Ironman drill we used to do when we played. I said, all right, well, let's do the Ironman drill, man. You guys got it. Y'all do it. And they did the Ironman drill, and the guys loved it. I mean, it was great. And one of the plays actually happened. Zeb loses the ball coming over half court. He dives on the floor, and then he throws it, quickly. He was the first to the floor. He gets it, picks it up, gets it to Max. Max drives shot fakes, drives baseline, and gets the and one on the other side. And so what they actually practiced happened, in the game. And so it's a great feeling, when that happens.
The guys had a lot of praise for Michael Bell, 14 over on the plus minus. What are all the little things that he does to contribute to winning?
Yeah, he rebounds, he's not afraid to drive in there and be physical on his drives. He defends, he tries to defend, and he's just scratching the surface. I mean, that's the cool thing about it for us as coaches. It's like, we're working with him constantly on his shot, and he's really getting, he's improving that on a daily basis and getting more comfortable with it. He still doubts it. He's going to doubt it because it's not a natural thing for him right now. But all of the other things, the intangible things that he brings to this team, he brings it with a smile on his face in a competitive way. And I'm really proud of where he's going right now.
Coach, obviously, tough loss on Monday.
Yeah.
You guys started off slow today offensively.
Yeah.
But you guys pulled through in the end. How does that speak to sort of the perseverance that your team showed and kind of the personality of your team overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think resilient is a word, I would use. I mean, the guys, we could have easily gone a lot of different ways, and that's a good team we just played. I mean, they'll compete for the Southern Conference Championship. I think, for us, going into this game, we knew it was going to be a battle. We were doubting ourselves in a lot of ways, right, going in. And when you start again that way and you get down, all right, now doubt can really creep in. And so the positive talk that happened, within the huddles from everyone, all right, from everyone involved in our program was really good. I think that helped. That certainly helped the guys on the court, give them some confidence to keep playing, right? And one of the things we talked about the other day after that McNeese game was like, you can stay in games by playing hard and being tough and hustling, right? And I know it sounds very simplistic, right? But it's not easy to do that when guys are playing major minutes and you're out there and you're giving it your all. And certainly I thought the guys did that today with passion. Passion is one of our core values, and passion's about suffering. We suffered, Monday night, and they suffered the next two practices too. Like, it wasn't easy, those practices and film sessions, and they had to sit through them and watch themselves not hustle after balls and get beat to balls, and okay, and we're in the game, had a chance, and we gave away a lot of plays in that game, and that's why we lost. And so I think our guys were determined, to not have that happen again tonight.
Big.
Coach, congratulations, first regular season win. And
Yeah.
guys talked about the crowd making a huge difference. And
Crowd
Jason
is amazing.
Nelson talked about he could feel the energy.
Yeah, no question. I mean, when you're a player, right, obviously for the coaches it's great too, but when you're a player and you have the crowd behind you, like the VCU crowd is behind our players, it's a real thing, right? It is a real thing. It drives you. You want to please, right? I went to eat with my son last night, when I got home. I went over to Blue Habanero. I walk in, and literally somebody walks right up to me at the front entrance and says, "Coach, do you mind if I get a picture with you and talk to you?" And I said, "Absolutely, sure." She said, I went to VCU, but I live in California. I planned to come back for these two games, just to watch you guys. I love this program so much. And so why wouldn't we play hard for those people, right, that love this program so much? People that drive. I mean, obviously it's easy in Richmond to get there, all right, but when you have other things going on in your life and you have choices to make and other things that you could do, but people choose to come watch us play, that's special. And so if you're a player or you're a coach, you want to play and coach for them because of that.
Coach, you had 4 players in double figures. Can you just speak about how your team's versatility and offensive capability your squad has?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see, kind of how it goes over the course of the season. But right now, we need everyone. I mean, that was one of the messages the other day in practice. We have, now 12 on scholarship with Obi, but Obi's out for the season, right? So really 11. And you have Sean's hurt, and then you've got Joe's situation, as well. And it's okay, now we're down. So everybody that's on our team is to be counted on, and they understand that. And every game's different. Every game's different. This was a downsized game, so Rose didn't get as many minutes as he normally would because of how small they were, and we had to match it, every time. But I'm really excited about where this team can go. I think when you look at our team and you see them out there, yeah, we make a lot of mistakes, but I think this team has a bright future, and we've just got to keep getting better.
Do 1 or 2 more?
Big discrepancy shift in the 2-point attempts to the 3-point attempts from Monday. Were you just trying to get to the rack a little more in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way McNeese was playing us was obviously tighter, right? And so every game's different, and you have to take what the defense gives you. And certainly they were a pressure team, and they tried to tighten it up once they got a little bit back in the half court with some of the zone stuff that they were playing. But I thought our guys did a nice job of taking it sometimes when it was there. Jay Nels was a good example of that, right? When he went to the basket and got a couple of layups. But I do think certainly it's it's important for us to get twos. There's no doubt about it.
Coach, can you share a little bit about what you said at halftime?
Halftime?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just about let's don't have the breakdowns. We had so many breakdowns in the first half. We turned it over 9 times. At that point, we ended up with more, obviously. But that's sometimes it's going to happen against teams like that. They're good at what they do. I mean, a lot of the steals that they got were on rebounds, right? Or us like attack. That's just not a natural thing. Like when you rebound the ball, normally guys, there might be one guy, coming at you. It's hard to prepare for that. You can't prepare for every little thing that another team does in 2 days. And that was one of the things that, they certainly are really good at. Like we were playing against them again. Okay, like we'd have to practice every time we get a rebound. Like they're knocking it out of your hands. They're really good at it.
Anything else, guys?
How's Blue Habanero?
Blue Habanero is always good. Yeah, it's always
It's
good.
good stuff, yeah.
So I got the bowl. Yeah, the bowl,
bowl.
like the
Oh,
tinga chicken, rice, avocado, black beans. I mean,
Can't go wrong.
This place is
Whatever.
It's so good.
No
too
mar-
many choices
It's loud in
town.
there.
Huh?
It's called Club Taco.